What up?
Good.
Hey.
Well,
You can turn it on for this one
I'm so
episode.
excited.
Yeah. Meg starts every episode like we force her to be here. So
Yeah.
It's not true at
no, I'm
all.
just kidding. It's like, yo, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to World's Finest. Make no mistake about it, we are World's Finest. And obviously, you've seen the thumbnails. Like, this was like a foregone conclusion for us. It was just like the movie kept getting pushed back, but we all had agreed that as soon as the movie was released the following Sunday, that we would be doing a spoiler discussion on our show. We'd be doing it, yes. Yeah, we'd be doing a discussion. And just a little while back, we were like, yo, like, want to try to do a little bit bigger? And then we talked about it. We talked to some people about coming on and helping us out. And then we're like, want to go a little bit bigger. And we all agreed, and we reached out to a few more people, and we have put together a panel to have a roundtable discussion to talk about this movie that is absolutely phenomenal. And we'll get into that. But first, let's start off by bringing in the panel, making her first appearance on World's Finest, hopefully not the last, Amanda.
I am so excited to talk about Dune. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes,
thanks for being here.
To come on. Yes,
I'm excited.
It is our pleasure. Also coming on for the first time, the World's Finest, Ben Evertz in the house. What up, Ben?
Yes. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
It's my first time.
Yes.
I feel like I've
World's
been here.
Finest.
I mean,
Oh no, I
you
wasn't
watched
for
it.
nerds.
Yeah,
sorry.
Wow.
You guys all look alike. I'm sorry.
Wow. Kick him out. Kick him out. Wait, which one do I look like?
Oh, shit. and also joining the panel for the discussion, Scott McClellan. What's good, Scott? Oh, he's muted. Right
Oh, he's the camera.
It's also Scott's first time, isn't it?
Yeah,
think
it
so,
is.
yeah.
Scott making his first appearance at World's Finest. We got some newbies up in the house.
Yeah.
We appreciate you guys coming on to talk about this movie because, and I am one of the few. We still have one more, I think, has joined us, Dave. I think he's the only other person who hasn't read the books. I haven't, and thoroughly enjoyed the movie, thoroughly understood everything that they were trying to tell me. That's, I think, that's due to Denny being able to put together such a, take that book and put it on the screen so graciously is the reason why I was able to understand all that stuff. Yeah, because I'm not versed in all of this stuff. Let's see who's in the house. Bob, what's good?
Hey.
Let's go.
Up.
That's me. All right. Emma, what's good?
Hey, Emma.
Yes, this is a spoiler discussion. Full spoilers.
Yeah.
We're talking here. What up, Alex?
Hey,
What's
Alex.
good?
Alex.
What's good? Jason in the house. What up? Bat Dan. I just get once. Yeah, yo, don't get it spoiled for yourself, man. Don't get it spoiled.
There he is.
Hey.
What's up, dude? What up, Scott?
You missed your gracious introduction.
Yeah.
Well, I was tucking somebody into bed.
Yeah, that's
so-
It was perfect. We were like, here he is. And then you're
And
like,
first time on
Like
World's
goodbye.
Finest.
Oh, but come on, you got that epic profile shot of me being the ultimate badass about the Mona Lawn.
Exactly.
What can I say? That's the best story about that picture. Is that's me with my sunglasses with my ball cap about the Mona Lawn. Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
Total badass.
How is everybody doing this evening?
Good.
It has been a long day, but I'm ready to talk more Dune.
Yeah.
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 Meg and I are we're gonna be duned out if that's even possible.
No
I was
way.
going to say by this, next week, you're going to be all duned out.
You guys kept talking. Now I feel, because I know you guys were going back and forth. I'm like, I think I'm gonna get added to that chat group. And I never got an invite.
Well, it's just Scott and I talking.
So
Okay.
now I don't want it. Now I do not want it. Don't even fucking don't do it. Don't do it. I don't want it.
No,
Trouble in
Meg and
Paradise on
I,
our show.
Meg and I have private thoughts that have to stay between the two of us.
There you go. Okay, that's enough. I don't want it.
Yes. So thank everybody for tuning in and watching this discussion on Dune. For me, obviously, you hadn't read it. I haven't seen the 80s movie in so long that like those details are just not even up here anymore. So, like seeing this was fresh, and that's one of the things, one of the few good things about not having read the book. Yo, I was tense the entire 2.5 hours, the entire time, because I hadn't read the book and I had no idea what was going to happen. Ed Jordan, final panelist. He's been here before. He was here last week. Oh, how Dave? What up?
Hey.
Hey. All right.
What's good, y'all? How's it going?
What's up?
How you guys doing?
Doing all right?
Doing good.
Right.
Doing good.
Good.
Doing good.
So we'll start with initial thoughts. When you were first stepping foot out of the theater from seeing Dune, like what were the feels? We'll start with Amanda.
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to actually I watched this at TIFF, fortunately. I was like still shaken that I even got tickets to it. So it was like at least a month in advance. And I left that theater. I was like speechless, completely speechless. I kept shaking my head while the credits were running. I'm like, Denis, what did you do? This is like an epic. I was like literally I had goosebumps. I listened to the soundtrack before I watched the movie, and I still got goosebumps watching the film. And then I watched it for a second time, still got goosebumps, still anxious. But it's a spectacle, and I haven't felt that blown away by a movie in theaters, like a new franchise, in like a very long time. So it was just really interesting for that to happen to me. But I still don't have words. It's just beautifully shot. The actors put on an acting clinic. They were all phenomenal in their roles, and no one like phoned it in at all because they're doing it for Denis. So I had a lot of fun watching it. It felt like a big thing was about to happen for everyone, like to watch this on a global scale. So I felt that it was really special.
Yo, imagine having to sit on this for a month.
Didn't do it.
It was rough.
I bet it was. And Scott, man, your initial thoughts, man, after the first viewing.
Well, see, I went to go see it with my dad, and that was special for me because my dad introduced me to the David Lynch film back when I was in the 3rd grade. Like, that was one of our bonding things. Like, but he never read the book, and then I gave him a copy of the book. It's like, this has been one of those father-son things that's been developing since if it's 3rd grade, we're talking like 1991, 1992. Like, that's how long this has been a journey for me. So my initial thoughts of walking in the theater was literally just my dad and I going like, oh, did you see that? And you see this? And I really like how we were talking about the ornithopters, and like, he's like, that's a really cool design. Were they ever described in the book? No, Herbert didn't tell you the damn thing about what they looked like. And like, so what I enjoyed was because I didn't see it by myself. I saw it with someone else, and I saw it with someone else who was as invested and as excited that I enjoyed the ability to. The walking out of the theater was a conversation that continued the entire drive till he dropped me off at my house. And it was just about how cinematic and how impressive and how it moved. It was all my specific thoughts that we can get into. But for me, the initial was just that my dad had loved it as much as I did, and that it generated a conversation where, because there are movies you walk out of and it's like bloop, like your brain's wiped as soon as you walk out of the theater, and then there are the movies that like you're still talking about it 20 minutes after you've left the theater, and obviously by the fact that I am on how many YouTube streams afterwards, I'm still wanting to talk about it. And I think the only movie that matches my sheer gobsmackness for 2021 is The Green Knight. Like, that's the only other movie for me this year. There are other movies I've enjoyed, but if we're talking about just the, oh my WTF, what did I just watch kind of experience, The Green Knight's the only thing that compares for me. But to Amanda's point, the difference is The Green Knight's a one-off. It's an indie film. It's that kind of thing. It's glorious. It's A24. It's what you expect. But Dune, like she said, this is franchise. Like, I'm going to actually get more.
So crazy.
Nice. Ben, initial thoughts coming out of there.
When I watched it with my wife and my BFF. He was third wheeling it that night, And so, and she already has some reference because I already gave her some information. He didn't know anything. And by the end of it, we were like talking about it, and we had this deep dive on the subject without going to spoiler territory because it was only half of the book. But whenever we watch movies, there's a point where like we just cut it off. But like we drove all the way home, and we still parked in front of our house talking about the movie. It's like this movie was amazing, and it's one of those movies that I didn't know. I just couldn't process all the stuff that I seen because everything that I saw, it was exactly how I envisioned we could, and which is hard for a movie, especially when you read the book. You have these ideas how and even the looks of it, you have these ideas of how they're supposed to look, and then when you see it manifest itself the way that it did, that is so close to what you imagine, I was like, yo, this is, how could this guy tap into my brain and deliver something as close to what I thought? And to me, it was amazing. It felt like one of those movies that a year from now, I want to be one of those movies that I want to watch for the first time. If you understand what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we get it.
Yeah.
Dave, what'd you think about it, man? First initial thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, it left me kind of speechless. Like I had like, I know Denis' style of directing, so I had kind of an idea of what it was going to. I think the thing that kind of impressed me the most about the way he shot it was like the scale of it, how big it was, because I was like, man, I hope it's just like massive and everything's huge and on scale. And it was like bigger than what I thought it was. Like I thought Blade Runner 2049 was like massive on scale, and this made that look like a small movie.
It's true.
And it was just like, it was so well shot and like well acted. Like everyone was casted real well.
Yep.
I don't know. It just like, it exceeded my expectations. Like I had like thoughts in my head how I wanted it to be, and it was everything I wanted it to be. Like it was better than that.
Yeah.
Nice. Real quick, Bakayara has a question for Scott. Says, Scott, should I check out the Dune graphic novel or just wait for the movie?
I would say just wait for the movie. Like, if you haven't experienced the source material in any form or fashion yet, dear God, just walk into it blind and enjoy the show.
Yeah. Otherwise, you're gonna have the same quandaries that we had. I'm like, but this part was missing.
I know.
I wish this wasn't there.
That's like yesterday. We spent a lot of time like saying, "Oh yeah, we would have liked like
the wish list."
Yeah, a wish list because like the movie is extraordinary. Like I really like. Scott and I were saying it's like perfect, right? And it's like it's almost like you have to try to find things like nitpicking almost, but it's not nitpicking. It's just like I would love for this to also be included, but it's okay that it's not. It makes sense.
Joey, initial thoughts?
I thought it was incredible. I went with a friend, and he had read the book before, and so like, I had someone who was as invested as I was because I just finished the book a couple weeks ago. And we kind of just like sat there and looked at each other like, yeah, that was the book put on screen. Like, and I tried to go into it not like looking for stuff that would be missing because I knew there would be stuff that would be missing. I just wanted to enjoy it for what it was. And I think Denny totally just, killed it. And
knocked it out of the park.
Just the cast and just the way everything looked like if you can like make me feel like the heat of a desert if I'm just watching something, that's like real cinema to me. So I thought it was incredible. I can't wait to go back and see it again. I can't wait for more. Hopefully, it was awesome.
Yeah. As for me, it was, and this is also, like I said before, I hadn't read books, and just viewing this for the first time myself, I was just like, yo, I'll tell you this, the 2.5 hours disappeared. I was so into that shit. Like, I didn't know the movie was ending until Zendaya's character turns around and says, "This is only the beginning." I was like, wait, the movie's over? I had my phone sitting on my lap. I pulled it up and looked at just to check the time, and I was like, holy shit, the movie's over. I was, dude, into it. And like you guys were talking about last night about the water thing, it didn't take me long to realize how important water was in this entire thing. Also, me and Meg have been to movies together a couple times. Joey, when we saw BVS. I'm a big popcorn dude. Like I smash popcorn at the movies. I get the biggest size available, and I smash. Yo, when this movie was over with, I looked down at my bucket. It was over halfway full. Like at some point, I got so immersed, I stopped eating and just sat it down and watched. So if you ever see, like I destroy popcorn at the movie. And for me to not eat it like that, the movie was fire. The movie was absolute fire.
Did you all see it in IMAX? Everybody seen it in IMAX?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for how like intense the sound was.
Oh, dude.
Movie.
There were scenes where I was like gripping my chair because it was just like
It's unlike I haven't like the score for that movie is like unlike anything I've ever heard. Like it's incredible. It really like just like you just get like sucked into the movie.
Puts you in a trance.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I think the closest I've ever come to something like that was when I saw Interstellar in IMAX.
Yes.
That you know, that's a movie. You know, there's movies you see in IMAX and you go, "Cool, I saw it in IMAX," and then there's movies that you go, "You didn't see this in IMAX? What the hell is wrong with you?"
True.
And I really feel like the last time I truly felt that way was like Interstellar. And so, and once again, Hans. I mean, it's like Hans was made to compose a movie you're going to see in an IMAX theater. It's like, because I mean, I saw Blade Runner 2049 at the same screen, like Interstellar, but like I have this one IMAX screen that I go to see because it's literally 10 minutes away from my house, and it's just like. Bring it on. I want to thank the boys for giving me the clip of Hans Zimmer. What it feels like every time I go to see a movie he scored and I'm watching it in IMAX.
Yeah. Ben, what'd you think of the score?
Oh, I thought it was fire too. There was like every time there was a tense moment, it's the sound, the music is submerged into the moment. It plays you in the moment, even when there was action, when there was suspense, when there was when the whole scene of the betrayal, like the sound like submerge you into it, which you heavily rely on the visual to do, but the sound is just. It just put you in that mood, like something's going down, something's happening, something. It's a foot, and I thought he did an amazing job just to put in the sound cues perfectly pitched in every scene that was on screen.
Yeah, the sound was definitely the score was a character in this film, straight up.
Yeah,
it really
was. Amanda, what do you think about the score?
Goosebumps every single time I listen to it. It's like you have like it's like this overwhelming feeling of like something's about to happen. That anxiety, that anticipation, like it overwhelms you when you're watching those scenes with the score, and it elevates it completely. But the important thing that Hans does, even like with the Man of Steel soundtrack, it's like specifically Flight, as we all know, it's like you go back to that specific scene in the movie, and that's a powerful thing to do. With just music. So even when I'm listening to the Dune score, it's like especially the Gom Jabbar track is like my favorite thing ever. It's like I'll be taken back with those visuals. And that's so incredibly talented of a composer to do. So it's just awesome. Whether I'm watching the movie or I'm like doing my work and like listening to it during the day, like it's just it slaps. It's a banger, and I could listen to it all day every day.
It's funny that Amanda mentioned like the weatherman thing. The sound, because I usually don't listen to a score until after I watch the movie, because it's exactly what she says. When I hear the sound, like, oh, it puts me right back into that scene that I was watching, and I just thought that just popped into my head, like, why people listen to the soundtrack before the movie comes out? Like, to me, it makes sense to listen to it after. And I know what you're gonna say, Scott, because you are you listen to it. Go ahead, Scott.
I've always that's just the thing. It's like listening to the score before I see the movie hypes me up even more, because I can appreciate it just for its sheer musicality. And then it's like, how does this fit in the movie. Like I begin to dream about what the visuals are that I'm going to see with the score. So they're almost like when Amanda talked about like you hear the score and it transports you to that scene. There's actually part of me that likes to appreciate the music without that attachment. I just want to absorb the music on its own. I relate it to like reading a book that's going to be turned into a movie before I know it's being turned into a movie, before I know who's been cast. So I am not reading the book with those actors like in my head. I kind of do the same thing with the musical score. So
Dave, what you think about the score?
Oh yeah, I mean it was intense and like overpowering in like a good way. To me, like it was so like like it drew you in so much, like it was like you said, it was a character in itself, like of the movie. I loved it.
Yeah, it was loud and amazing. It was just like, and where I was sitting in this thing, because obviously it was an IMAX, like it was just like,
yeah,
like,
the speakers were in front of my face, like left.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where you're watching something like that, and it's like it's all encompassing, and that is the you have everything we're going to talk about with this movie, but like to put a bow on it, it's the score that just like tightly like steals everything up together.
Yeah,
and it was phenomenal. Joy, what you think about the score?
I no, just echoing everything else, everything everybody else already said. It was amazing, and just like you already felt the tension or the epicness of those scenes, and the score just like increased that like times 10. And anytime a score can do that is just amazing. So no, I thought it was great. I actually just got back from a road trip today, and I kept trying to have the people in the car listen to the score, and they're like, "No, we're not listening to a movie score."
But the bagpipes,
you don't understand.
Yes, space bagpipes. Space bagpipes.
Do you want to Uber?
Armada.
Get out
Armada's the track, by the way. If you need to know, it's Armada.
Oh yeah, I've seen people asking about the bagpipes. Yeah,
Dude.
Yeah, it was. If you no mistake about it, we're all in agreement that the score is, there's not much more to say about it. So one thing also that I noticed, and this was Rebecca Ferguson, you are whatever. So the performances in the movie, I'll go first real quick. This is the part where I envy people who have read the book, because you can sit here and you could say, I know what this character is, how he's written, like, and you could look at the performances from the actors and be like, yo, did they bring them to the screen like the way that I thought that they would? I personally
100%.
Yeah.
Zero, everything was absolutely amazing. And that's I'll say one problem. There wasn't a room for all of them to have more screen time, which I'm sure there's a lot of stuff cut. So let's start with you, Ben, man. What's your performances?
Yeah, Rebecca Ferguson, like I said this last night, I think that was her movie because she was, and everything about Lady Jessica, she just nailed every single thing. There was no ambiguity about her performance. Everything was just her. And that's interesting because sometimes when you take up on a character as an actor, like with the Joker or any other character that is well known, any well known IP, you do the whole method acting and you submerge into that character. But this is somebody who hasn't been put on screen before to this level, other than the atrocious movie in '84. Sorry, Scott.
It's fine. I'm not saying it's good. And don't forget the sci-fi miniseries from 2000.
Oh, that's true in sci-fi, which won awards for VFX.
Is that the one James McAvoy was in?
Yes,
James McAvoy was in the sequel.
Right,
right.
Yeah,
it was on Children of Dune.
Children of Dune was the sequel. Yeah, the original one, the big name of that one was William Hurt played Duke Leto.
Oh, right.
Yeah, so I thought she was amazing. And one person that I'm looking forward to in the sequel was Javier Bardem. Because he was Stilgar through and through.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
that dude is just gonna be the thing to watch in the next one, because everything about him, his pitch, his delivery, the way he talk, is exactly how I saw it in my mind when I read this book so many years ago. So
Amanda.
that's
Go ahead.
those are my two standout.
Oh, okay, nice.
For sure.
Amanda, your performances, what got you in the field?
I gotta speak on my boy Timmy. I'm so sorry.
Finally, someone else.
I like, first of all, the hatred that I have seen for him as an actor leading up to Dune, that he can't hold a franchise, he can't hold the lead, he can't do any of that, has upset me.
Yes.
And it doesn't make any sense, because if you've watched his filmography, he's chosen his roles so carefully, and there's a reason why he went for those roles. So for him to choose a franchise film because of Denis, that's massive for him, because he wanted to stay away from franchise films. So for him to take this, like, he wanted to work for Denis and make Paul Atreides like his own and bring the chops. And I think he did that. I think he really showed his range in this film. I think he's going to surprise so many people that he can actually lead a phenomenal cast of actors as well. So it's just, his performance really got me, because I followed his career, and it's like, I'm just so proud of him that he's at this state, like, so early too in his career. So it was just awesome for me to experience that and have people actually recognize how talented he is now. So I think it's really important. And he embodied Paul. Unfortunately, I did read the book when everyone was casted. So, I was reading it, and I'm like, I thought it's Timmy, but like, he just impressed me so much. And then, like, obviously part 2, it's like he's gonna impress us even more. So where it ended, that, like, we'll get into it after, but like, one of the final scenes that he has, it just really shook me, and I was just so proud of him. But yeah, Timmy, I'm gonna speak on, and then obviously Rebecca Ferguson. If anyone has award chances and they're gonna, like, for your consideration, Rebecca Ferguson, like, I really hope that ends up happening. But those are like two standouts for sure for me.
Yeah, he delivers a line in the tent scene to his mom. He's like, "You did this to me." I was like,
yeah.
That was it.
That was a good thing. That was a good thing.
I was like, "Yo, let's go." Scott, the performances, man.
I mean, like Amanda, I was reading the book for the first time when all the casting news was coming out, but I was already in the book. So when the casting news was coming out, I was just going, yes, yes. I mean, like, kind of back to your point, Anthony, about how, like, watching the performances and going, oh yeah, they brought what was on the page to the screen. But there was something about even Denis' casting choices that, like, as I'm reading the book, I'm like, all these actors I know. Like, no one. Timothy was one that I was not familiar with yet. And then for me, what got me was him playing Laurie in Little Women. Like, that was really, that was mine when I was like, dude, yes. Like, and I saw Lady Bird and Little Women, like almost back to back, because Little Women got me to watch Lady Bird. And so I saw him, and so that he was the only one that when they got cast, the one thing I would say was that I appreciated, and Meg and I have talked about this on her channel, is the problem with other versions is that they never cast Paul young enough. Like, I feel like it does a disservice to the character when you got to realize in the book he's 15. Like, and I know Timothy's not that young, but he can look that young. And you can still get the sense that this kid's a teenager. And he's got all this. I think last night on Ben's stream, I called it, he has this terrible purpose. And this has all been placed upon him at this age. And the tent scene is really when it all comes, like, emotionally crashing down on him. And I think the reason Timothy and Rebecca, besides the fact they were amazing, I think they are the characters that, I mean, look at what happens to most of the characters that we meet in this movie. They don't make it to the end of the movie. So, I mean, you almost look at them because they are the two characters that, when you look at the arc of the entire novel, they're the two we're following. So it really shouldn't be a surprise to us. It should almost be a given that they're carrying the movie on their backs. they're the main characters. Like they're the characters whose arc we're following. Everyone else honestly exists as a support to them. Now they all do amazing jobs in their roles, but they're supporting characters, you know, as far as the plot's concerned. And so, yes, those are the two standouts. But, you know, let's just give shout outs to people who did a great job. I mean, Josh Brolin was like, the only thing I missed was, if you don't know Anthony, like he's supposed to be like this warrior poet, and there's stills, like there's deleted scenes that apparently, you know, he's playing his little musical instrument. He's supposed to be like, he's supposed to be, you know, but you did see him quoting lines. He's reading he's reading the Orange Catholic Bible. You know, you get the sense that there's a soul to him instead of just being a warrior. And I felt like he brought that, even though all of those elements of his character weren't put on screen.
Right.
And Oscar Isaac, I mean, dude, like who doesn't expect Oscar Isaac to just like kill it with whatever he does.
Dave, what you think about the performances, man?
Yeah, I mean, everyone was so well casted in their roles. Like, obviously, I mean, Rebecca Ferguson was like, she's one of those actresses to me that like there are certain people who act like they don't have to say anything for you to understand the emotion they're feeling in it. Like, she is such a good facial actress. Like, you can feel the tension just looking at like the way she looks at someone in a movie. Like, you could read it. And I agree with like Amanda. Like, I used to not be a big fan of Timothy, but what's that movie he acted in where he was like the king or whatever? Like that.
The King.
I saw him in that. The King. Dude, he is so good in that movie. Like, that movie sold me on him. I was like, this dude can act. And he did it again in this one. I don't know. I don't really understand the hate with him, because I think he's a fantastic actor. Like, I used to not be a fan of him, but I think he's a great actor. I don't really get the hate on him.
Dave, I think the hate is that because he is you know what it is? I think people don't actually watch his performances. I think they are doing a superficial judgment that he is some pretty boy.
Right.
It's like what
which is what I used to think. That's what I used to think.
Well, I think that's what happens. It's like what Robert Pattinson went through. It was, you know, they don't take the time to go, no, you do realize that these guys put in like the work, right?
Exactly.
It also, I feel like it's a lot, like it also mirrors Kristen Stewart too, because I feel like a lot of people like prejudge Kristen Stewart and they don't watch things beyond whatever film made them famous, right? And I feel like her and Timothée Chalamet have like a similar acting like performance. They're not like overtly emotional when they're acting. That's very subtle. But he was, dude. And
so
also Jason Momoa as Duncan Idaho. And going back to the score in the scene where, you know, his last scene in the movie, you just like, you can see like visually you can feel the emotion, but like the music just kicks it up to another level and you're like, oh fuck, this is it. Jason Momoa is like, outside of, you know, like Rebecca Ferguson and Timothée Chalamet, he's up there. I was not expecting that from him.
Good performance. Good performance by everyone.
I mean, there's not a miscast at all.
At all.
Not zero weak performances,
dude. And the Baron, fuck that.
Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh my god,
I feel like not enough people are talking about that casting. But I can't see anybody else playing that.
No.
Yeah, and I was, you know,
here's the thing.
Go ahead.
No, the thing about him is, I think what too many people are realizing is that he is insidious in that role without being as over the top mustache twirling like the David Lynch version is. And he's just subtly like creep. Like Meg was talking last night about the way he just floats,
it's so menacing.
And it's quiet,
it's menacing, dude.
And
it's suspenseful.
And the thing is, I had I didn't know, so I was like, "Yo, is dude just mad tall?" Like in the trailer, he goes up real high, and I was like, "Yo, that's creepy anyway." So I didn't know what that entailed, but then like as I see them, and they did it real in the scene in the dining room or whatever, they just blurred him out floating across the. I was like,
yeah, when you see it from the Duke's perspective, it's terrifying because it's like you're sitting there, like you see it from this paralyzed guy's like point of view, and it's like you just see feet like barely floating above this table, and he's a huge dude. Like you've seen him like before this scene, you've seen his body, and it's like holy fuck, dude. Like, and then you hear like his spine when he moves. Oh, it's so scary. Like he's not in the movie that much, but when he is, it's like you get chills. He's scary as fuck.
Yep.
Yeah.
Joey, man, what do you think about the performances?
Again, I think the general consensus of the group is like this was Rebecca and Timothy's movie. They were awesome, but I had this gut feeling reading the book and going into the movie and seeing the trailers and everything that Duncan Idaho was going to be my favorite character, and he was. He wasn't, he wasn't in it the most, but like the scenes he were in, I was just fully just captivated, and I loved his performance, and I loved his like that the loyalty to that family, and especially to Paul. Yeah. As like that bigger brother role, that loyalty just seems so genuine. Yeah. I just he was probably my favorite from this one.
Who's everybody's favorite from the movie? Scott, start with your favorite.
Well, it's not fair because everyone knows that I have like this.
You have to choose. You have to choose.
No, it's not. It's easy for me to choose. Everyone knows who I'm going to choose because, like,
Rebecca.
It's Rebecca. I mean, I'm sorry. It's been there since Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That yellow dress.
Thank you.
I died, so I got you.
I'm sorry. My bookmarks and my Twitter account are famous among certain friends, and I have one particular GIF of her with the leg and the sniper rifle.
Yeah, the silhouette with the sniper rifle. Yeah.
I don't blame you.
When the score like builds up in that point too, like when they're in the opera. Oh my god.
Yeah, that was
God.
And you're supposed to be our supervisor.
Yeah.
She is a grown-ass woman who happens to be 1 year younger than me. So you know what? I'm okay. I am at least when I am thirsting, I am thirsting age appropriately.
Sure.
There we go.
Here you go, Dave. Favorite character?
Man, that's tough. Probably Rebecca Ferguson, and then I also liked. I don't know. I liked a lot of the small characters that popped up too, like Javier Bardem's character. I liked a lot. I felt like he just stole that scene when he walked in.
Yeah.
Oh,
he was talking to them. He stole that scene.
Yeah.
I also liked what's her? I had it pulled up here.
The doctor.
Sharon Duncan Brewster. Her character was dope too. The woman who like guided them to the Spice Land. The black woman who guided them to. Yeah. She was so good. I hope
Which was a gender
I hope
swap,
she's not
by the
actually.
way.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I heard
a
about
swap,
that. I heard about that. But
Ben.
yeah, those three are probably my favorite.
Nice.
All right, Ben, favorite character?
Just because I know there's more between the relationship of Paul and Stilgard, I think Javier Bardem. I mean, Rebecca, like I said at the beginning, that's her movie. But I knowing how much he's gonna be involved with his life and his development and his growth, I can only say this dude, he nailed it in those 2-3 little scenes that was there, and I can imagine how amazing it's gonna be on the follow up. He was my favorite.
I already know who Amanda's.
It's totally Paul. Like
surprise.
But I will say that like Stellan Skarsgård really just he's a close second. He really killed it. So
yeah. When he comes out of the healing pit, I was just like,
yeah. It's like we don't want to see it, but I can't stop looking.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm saying, He's like,
also,
he's like, what do
you're good.
He's like, what do we do with the Freeman? He's like, kill them all and just dips back. And I was like, yeah. Meg, your favorite character?
I'm gonna go with Paul as well. I just throughout the whole movie, anytime he was on screen, I was just so enthralled by his character. Also, I gotta say Baron too. He was absolutely terrifying. Like he does, like it's so. I don't know, like we were talking about the Emperor, how like you can feel his presence throughout. And I feel like even when the Baron's not on screen, you know he's about to fuck something up. Like it's about to go down. And Stellan is just amazing in that role. And then, you know, obviously Jason Momoa too. Those are I feel like those are my three, you know, of my favorite. I mean, everyone is perfect, so it's really hard to pick. I feel like it'll just change like on any other day. Like I'd just be like, oh yeah, Rebecca Ferguson's my favorite this day, or whatever. But yeah, I gotta say, I love Timothy Chalamet, but this was just it brought him to a whole nother level for sure.
Joe, you gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, I think an underrated character is. I think an underrated character was Josh Brolin's Gurney. There was this like, there's a line straight from the book where Paul says, you know, the training, I'm not in the mood. And just something about the delivery that Josh gave, where he's just like, mood. This isn't gonna wait for your mood. There's something about it. I was like, that was awesome. That was really good.
Yeah, he was fine. As for me, as much as I love Rebecca's performance, I think, when she's standing outside of the room while Paul has his hand in the box, and her just, I was just like, Jesus Christ. But I think, as far as in the movie favorite character, the scene at the end with Paul and he's doing that duel with that dude, I think that like, I was like, after that was done, I was just like, especially after his mom's just like, Paul's never killed a man before. And then it's just like, I was like, that in between her saying that and the end of that scene, as far as characters in the movie go, that he is my favorite. That was just incredible. Like after that happened, I was just like,
you know who else was good was the woman who played like the mother witch or whatever.
Charlotte Rampling.
Oh my god,
she's terrifying.
I was like, that scene. I was like, dude, just do what she says and don't piss her off.
I know.
Like, don't piss her off, man.
And he's like talking back to her, and I'm like, okay.
Which I that scene is like my favorite because
that was my favorite scene.
It really shows you like the arrogance that Paul had in the beginning, where he's just like, yo, you just told my mom to get out. Who the fuck are you? Like,
but like when I saw that, I was thinking about his age and like he's 15 and 15-year-old kids, they like to mouth off, and that's what I was thinking about. I wasn't thinking about him being the son of the Duke. Just a young kid. Being his age.
Like, boy, I'll slap the boy.
I was like, bro, you don't, this woman looks like she is not joking around. Like, you just shut up.
You see her, the headpiece she's wearing, she's here to fuck shit up.
When she said, come here and kneel, like, I got out of my chair. And, why am I kneeling? Oh my God.
How immersive is this screening?
The voice, man.
Oh, man. Also, that scene, I would say this. I think there's very few actors who could pull off that scene the way it's pulled off. When he had his hand in the box and the range of emotions he goes from when I guess the pain starts to when it ends. I don't know. That it was amazing. Like I felt all of that. You know what I mean? And like I know y'all were talking about last night that the book starts with that scene. I was like, yo, like if the movie had started like that, I don't know. I don't know what I would have done because that was just like the power that was there. But I'm kind of glad it didn't because the lead up to that kind of made it even that much better. But so also we're in agreement that there was not a miss when it came to casting this movie, and
at all.
The performances were off the chain. Everybody about their A game. So another thing I want to talk about, which was incredible. Also, the VFX in the movie, man. I know there's one particular scene. It's the camera's down on the ocean or whatever, and the big ship starts coming up. It's like, and then obviously you see Paul like on like the I don't want to say the beach, like on the cliffs or whatever, and you see the ships coming up out of. I was like, yeah, this is, and that's early in the movie, and I was like, yo, okay, so this is about to be absolute fire. Ben, what you think about the VFX, man?
Sorry, my daughter's crying. Yeah, but yeah, one of the things that I was watching that I remember that because I watched it again today.
Same.
is the attention to detail that Denny had with this movie. There's a scene where the ship is coming down with Duncan Idaho the first time that he shows up on screen, and you see it flying into a dock. You don't see anything, traction, no jets, no wind blowing, which is usually part of when a jet is landing. So it tells you that this is like advanced technology, and it makes you think like you don't even register like, yo, how fucking great is this that this thing is landing, and you're not even questioning that there's nothing around it, none of this visual that you usually get, the wind blowing, the people holding on to the hats and shit like that. And it just was so settled. That was perfect. Even and more to that, it was about the VFX. It was whenever they were in different planets. You felt that you were in different location at all fucking time. When they were in Giddy Prime, you knew that they were in Giddy Prime. When you were in Arrakis and you saw the big monster ships behind it, you knew they looked like real. Like there was nothing that looked fake about them. Because even like we are so used to looking at VFX that we right away we register in our mind, oh, that's VFX. No, that never computed in my mind. It's like those like big ships back there, real ships.
Yeah.
So I thought they did an amazing job when it came to the VFX, and it was not like VFX heavy. Like it wasn't like overwhelming with a lot of VFX. They were just subtle enough for you to enjoy the movie and not be distracted by them.
Nice. Amanda, the visual effects.
I totally agree with everything he just said. It's the attention to detail. It really is, because he was just so meticulous with every single thing. And I think what really helped us not think that it's more like all VFX is that they also shot on location. So I think that was like the perfect blend and balance that we could be like, this is real. And then you have like these amazing ships, and then you have these creatures that are so well designed, and that like even after watching like Enemy and Arrival, because those creatures were like stunning, they're so beautiful and made an impact on a lower budget. This is on a like a bigger scale. So he brought everything that he did with those two films, and I think it just improved upon with the Sandworm, the Thumper, any creatures that you saw. So it even like the teeth that you saw with the Sandworm, like you could see that, like you could see that. So that just takes like dedication, a good eye, and again detail. So I think he really nailed the perfect balance of the spectacle and then making everything feel real for the viewer as well. So that's why it transports you to Arrakis or Jedi Prime. Like that's the beauty of this movie. So I think he did a great job with that.
Scott, what'd you think?
I think what everyone said, and I'm glad Amanda brought up the idea of the practical locations. I mean, using Norway, using Jordan, like using places where it's like, no, we're really in a flipping desert. I mean, like this is real here. But very similar also to my experience watching Blade Runner 2049 is that there were times I'm like, this could be a model. Like that's detailed, and that's what I appreciate is that when you have me second guessing, it's like, I mean, because I'm sorry, I'm one of those people that you give me bad CGI, damn, I can spot it a mile away. And personally, it takes me out. It's like, oh my God, that's plastic and rubbery, and it's like, it's like it was like the de-aging of Sean Young in Blade Runner 24, and I was like, no, you've got like the eyes, the mouth, like I'm watching it going, no, this works. Like, you really did just like time travel, bring Sean Young back from 1982. So watching this movie, it's because the VFX, when were used, as Amanda said, very carefully, very detailed oriented, but wasn't overused. So when it did happen, was that practical? Was that VFX? Was that a nice little blend? I didn't care because it all just it was of a piece.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it didn't feel something that was like heavily laden and slapped on. And so I just sat back and accepted it. And even though, and I remember because, you know, Twitter, the one shot from one of the trailers that got like mercilessly like hated on by people who just needed.
I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to say.
Well, in context, amazing. It's amazing when you have context of things.
Imagine that.
What a concept.
I know, but even the image of him when he has the jihad vision, it's a vision.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry if it doesn't look quite real. Well, you know, butter my butt and call me a biscuit because it wasn't.
And the thing the whole thing was CGI. You know how hard it is to do CGI during daylight? That's why the majority of the CGIs is done with that dark tone because it's so difficult to nail that lighting perfectly. So they weren't going to spend a huge budget on a giant battle that is not going to pay off until the second or third movie. They're just going to give you an understanding that this is going to happen. This is going to happen. That's all they needed to do. And I don't know. I never understood why they hate for that little scene. Like,
because they needed, you know what it was? Because they needed something. People who wanted to tear this movie down before it even came out needed something. And up to that point, they had Jack to work with.
Facts.
Dave, man, the visual effects, how'd they hit you?
Oh, dude. I mean, Denis, like, I don't know. He handles VFX like just in general in his movies so well. Like I love when, especially movies that involve like sci-fi or technology, like I love when the VFX in the movie makes you think like that type of technology could actually exist in the real world. Like just the little things, like when Timothy woke up and like that light floated over to him, I was like, I was like, do they have something like that right now? Like, it's called Roomba. For real, you know what I mean?
Like a floating Roomba.
Right. Like I love stuff like that. Like he did that a lot in Blade Runner. You know, like a lot of little things Kay was using, like in his car and like at his side. Like I was like, could stuff like that actually exist? Like I love stuff like that. So I mean. Yeah, he's really good at that. Like I thought, like I already said before, the scale of it was great. Ben was saying like the ships and like the scale of everything when they came down and the soldiers standing there, like the VFX was spot on. Like I thought the budget on this movie was like, when I was watching, I was like, man, it's got to be like at least 200 million, 220 million. It was like 165 million when I looked it up. So I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But yeah, it was spot on. Yeah.
Joey, what'd you think, man? Visual effects.
It was really good. The biggest thing for me that, like, you know, going into this was like I was wondering how the is it ornithopters? Is that what they're?
Yeah.
Yes.
I was wondering how those were going to look because it could be very easy to make them look kind of cheesy, I guess.
Right.
I thought they looked amazing. Like just like the separate like wings that they operated on.
When they started out, it was like
it was so sick.
And then and then the part where like he just like, you know, retracts them and then they just do the free fall, like that was awesome. And then the infiltration scene by the Harkonnens, and then that rain of fire that they do onto the I was just so that like literally jaw dropping.
What about when the Sadu car like just floated down?
I love that. Because it makes sense. Like they would do that, be like stealthy like that. So it just looks so sick.
Dude. Yeah, they're fighting on the steps, and then they just quietly just drop in behind them. I was just like, I was trying to think how to describe that entire the invasion scene, and the first word that came to mind was like elegant. Because it's just so like everything. It's
so
perfect.
Precise.
It's perfect. It's precise. It's quiet, but it's loud. It's like there's so many different things to describe that scene. That's absolutely incredible. Meg,
like the force field thing they
Yeah.
use. I like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
I love that was like a
So
common,
cool.
Yeah.
like everyone
Yeah.
kind of had.
Yeah.
Well, I
Love
think it's
it.
like Scott said, you weren't watching this wondering what was practical, what was
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
VFX.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like again during the infiltration scene, I'm watching Josh Brolin and I'm like, what exactly is he reacting to? Because I like
Mhm.
these look real enough, like these explosions look real enough to where I'm like, is he actually facing these? You know, like
Yeah.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
Sorry, Meg, I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah,
No, it's
sorry,
okay.
Meg. Go ahead.
That's fine.
Sorry, Meg. She's gonna yell at me later.
There will be repercussions later, but it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
No, I
That's
agree.
awesome.
I mean, with everything. I mean,
That's a good
yeah.
question.
I agree with everything you guys were saying, especially Scott, when you said that like when you see like a bad shot, like you can like you don't forget it, right? And like I didn't see any bad VFX in this movie. One thing that I really loved was the sandworms and how I'm using the word menacingly way too much, but like you can like they're just always a threat out in the desert. So like
It was like Jaws. They were coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then you had
and
to
you could-
do something before they get you. So that's
Yeah.
what every time I saw them.
When they were up in the sky with the doctor like going over like the desert, and you see the sandworm in like the distance, and like they put up their binoculars, and then they let you see through the eyes of the binoculars, and like you can it's like the tracking shot, and then it zooms in on the I thought that was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the VFX, the one shot that I really love, and it's really simple, and I mentioned it last night when Paul's on Caladan for like the last time, and he's walking the beach in like that trench coat, and you just see these massive ships in the back, and like they look so small out there, but you know that they're just fucking huge. I love that shot of him just walking on the beach. But yeah, I mean, I love the mixture of practical and VFX, because it's like I cannot tell you what was practical and what was not in this movie. Like other than the obvious, but they look so real. It's insane. It's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go and also one last thing about the VFX, the shields.
Dude, the shields are so
The
good.
shields are
So
fire,
cool.
and also like I don't see if people have a problem understanding how they work. Like Paul does this
Color
thing,
coded. Yeah.
basically.
Really?
like you guys were talking about last night. Like Paul does this thing when he's training with Josh Brolin's character,
Boom, boom.
where he shows you it basically showing you.
And then Josh says something.
Yeah.
He said the slow blade will get through or something like
Yeah.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I just thought the use of the shields was fire. Especially when the Baron uses it before Oscar Isaac kicked that person out. He's like, make sure to turn that shit on. He's got
He's stupid.
Which that part was dope too. So
I really loved the film books and how that they showed how they work. And like the hunter seeker scene where it's going through the film book, and he can actually get up and like interact with it almost, and like be in it and see like really the details of Arrakis, and then obviously he can hide in it too. So I thought the use of those was awesome.
One thing that was too real was that spider pet that the Harkonnens had.
Dude, I was like,
when she told me to leave,
she's like, you may leave. I'm like, I wish I could right now.
I was like, why did you keep it? What was the point of that? Why did you keep it?
Dude.
I was so fucking. I was like, gross.
Well, I guess it was credited as like human spider proxy or something like that. I'm like, I don't want to know what that means. I don't care. Better not be the sequel.
I looked at it and I was like,
oh, this grosser stuff too.
Yeah, no, that was definitely one of the times I was like, And she was like,
is it eating out a dog bowl? What is
And then they were like, yo, he's cool. It's cool here. She's like, nah, they can't understand your language. She's like, nah, get out of here. I'm like, bounce. And I was like, oh, she's like,
oh, and honorable mention to the mouse.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the funny part is that anyone who's read the book is that they're going,
I was like, oh.
and that's something else. I think it's VFX, it's production design, but there's I love when directors, when they do adaptations from source material, and they put imagery that if it doesn't mean anything to you because you're not familiar with source material, it's just going to like, it's gonna pass you by, and it doesn't take away from your enjoyment of the film.
No.
But if you're familiar with the source material, then you're looking at it and you're like going,
I know.
Yeah.
There it is.
I literally turned
Not
my
only
friend. I was
that,
like,
like
that's it.
It's
not
the
only
thing,
that,
it's
if
the
you're not familiar with it, and then you go and do your own little research, and then you see what that they call that desert mouse and the name of something specific, they're like, oh, that's why. Oh, it's the same thing. Oh, that's cool. You know what I mean? So it's those little breadcrumbs that they leave for you to go and do those little deep dives. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I didn't think that we're gonna get that to begin with. But it's
nice. Also, real quick before we move on, the sand when the worms were closed.
Before we move on from the VFX, because I gotta ask Dave, dude, are your curtain changing colors?
Am I?
Your
He said
curtains
the
are they
curtain.
changing? Your curtains are they?
No.
Dave
There they
got
go
no
again.
visual effects and shit.
Yo,
Oh, it's a
Dave
fucking-
is
it's the
always
lighting.
Yeah, I
different
actually had
setup
Denise set
and-
this up.
Yeah.
This is actually LED. This is an LED wall. This isn't actually curtains.
Yeah, Dave's got to make some CGI and practical curtains.
no, he's got Dave's got the volume technology going on.
Exactly.
I see.
Yeah,
Fancy
shout out
that.
to Zack Snyder. Thanks
Yeah.
for that.
All right, kick him out.
Yeah, but real quick, the effect on the sand when the worm was close, like the way it vibrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
was dope.
good.
The sand looked like water.
Yes.
Yeah, it did.
When he went away the last time, right before he went into the Fremen people, that you see the sand just like hitting the rocks like it was water. It's like, oh, that's it's like the sea to this monster. You know, like they just going deep like it's nothing.
Yeah, no, that shit was fire. So another large part of this film, man, and the cinematography. Yeah, can't get. It's such a like I told you guys. At some point in this movie, I stopped eating and it just disappeared into it until it was over, and I was like, oh, I didn't eat my popcorn. That's weird because that never ever happens. Yes, Dave. Cinematography, man. What you think about it?
I mean, it was like, it's Oscar worthy. Like, if it does, like, I don't see how this movie doesn't get nominated for at least like 5 or 6 different Oscars.
Facts.
Like, cinematography's got to be one of them. Like, the cinematography is like, I don't know. I always kind of tell myself cinematography in a movie is like communication with the audience. Like, it's a way to communicate, and like it did it so well in this movie. Like the lighting, the angles, the shots, like certain shots that were focused on like face, close-up shots or wide angle shots, like they all had a purpose. Everything had a purpose on it. I mean, it was it's Denis Villeneuve, so and Greg Fraser, so it's top.
Yeah.
Well, the guy works with Greg Fraser and Roger Deakins. And just like
right. Yeah.
He's a wizard.
Yeah.
He is. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah. Scott, man, cinematography. Well, you just said
that's just
prayer hand.
It's like the clouds parted, the light shone down. I feel like Belushi and Blues Brothers. Like I have seen the light. I think it's just the fact that like the amount of time it would just be a shot that would just be like the particles of spice dancing in the air, or just the sand blowing across it. And I didn't care that nothing was being said. And that maybe there was no music playing. I was just staring at a painting on screen that was moving. And I said this last night on Binge Channel. There were moments with Greg Fraser's cinematography and the editing and Hans Zimmer's score that's like, and I will repeat this, it's like I was watching A24 if A24 decided to make a $165 million blockbuster. Because there were these moments where they just let the shot sit.
Yeah. It just lets you, I love that about Denis. He lets his shots breathe.
Yeah.
Like he just lets them breathe. He doesn't rush his shots. I love that.
No.
And then like I said, and then Greg Fraser knows how to use the light and just capture things that it's just like the light wasn't doing the thing where it wasn't doing like the J.J. Abrams lens flare on the camera. It wasn't. It was the light was playing on the actual objects that were being photographed, and just to watch it like tinkle, 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 like because there are just so many, like the tent scene and any shot on Arrakis. It's like those are shots, and then you get like these giant halls, like that one room in Arrakeen, you know, where when the Duke and Gurney are like looking at the weak points in the city, and then there's the way that like you just get the sense of there's all this light out here, and then there's just all this darkness here because the light is actually something that will hurt you. You go into this really dark, cavernous house because this protects you from the world you're living on.
Ben, what'd you think, Ben?
Oh, I thought it was amazing. And the thing that I think I said that earlier is just the way that the cinematography put you in different places throughout this movie. When you were in Giddy Prime, you knew where you were. When you were in Caladan, you knew where, and they wanted to convey something at the same time. Because I remember when you were in Caladan, it was cloudy. That means there's water in the clouds. There's a sea. There's water everywhere. And then you go to Arrakis, and it's all desert. So they wanted to make that drastic distinction between these two, and I thought, I was like, oh, this dude just gets it. And when one of my favorite scenes was when the Bene Gesserit came down to see Paul, and they got off the ship, and they just walking through the ramps, like, oh my God, this is just beautiful. Because even if you look at the ship, it looks like they're coming out of the mouth, and the light bulbs is looking down at Rebecca Ferguson. I was like, this dude just gets it. He just knows how to put a frame together.
It looks like the witches from Macbeth.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. When they just coming out of the shadow, that's exactly what it felt like. Yes.
Amanda, what do you think? Cinematography.
Well, everyone said it perfectly. It's just stunning. It's stunning. I think for me, the one word to describe the cinematography is that it's rich. Yes. So I think that Denis and Greg Fraser, they took what was dense about the novel in regards to like political jargon and all of that, and they translated into the visuals, which is easier for audiences to kind of understand. Because I think for me, like with Star Wars especially, I know I'm like, I shouldn't say it's an unpopular opinion of mine, but I don't like Star Wars because of how much political talk there is that I don't even understand half the time. So that's like the one thing that I have. So watching Dune, it was just so refreshing because you took something that was so dense, and then it's like I still understood everything. And the general audience, if they did not read the book, you still can understand because of the visuals. And I think that's really important for visual storytelling in general. But the cinematography works because of the costume design, because of the, you know, the production design, the architecture, all of that, the lighting, all of that comes into play. So this is a technical feat because everything is working together so beautifully. So it's so rich. And I'm just so happy that people are recognizing that Denis is capable of making something like this with the team that he has. And like, that's how good of a director he is as well. So yeah, that's how I feel the cinematography.
They should have already knew. But Meg, cinematography.
I mean, same. I like what Dave said, where like each shot has like a purpose. Like it didn't feel like there was any filler shots in this movie at all. Like I love how it lingered, especially during when he was having his visions or his dreams. It was like it was dreamy, obviously, but like when Chani was in frame and how it would be like out of focus on her, and like there's the light behind her, and then it goes like in focus and you see the spice and everything. It was beautiful. Like when you were watching those visions, like it felt like a vision like that I was having myself. But no, great. I love the cinematography and just makes me, because he's doing the Batman, so that makes me even more excited.
We're in good hands.
Yeah, no, I also love that shot when they first arrive on Arrakis too, where it's like they're in this dark ship, and then the doors slowly open and more light comes in, and you see it from like all these characters' perspectives. I love that.
Shields up.
Yeah.
Bagpipes.
The bagpiper don't get a shield.
He's the real MVP of the
movie. Dave, the Scots don't need shields.
Joey, what'd you think about the cinematography, man?
Oh, I mean, again, like echoing everything, it was incredible. Like I said earlier, if I can like watch, a movie and be transported to whatever planet they were on, if I can feel the heat and like believe I'm actually on a desert planet, like, I wasn't watching like, I wonder what part of the world, Denny shot this on. I was like, it's crazy that he went to space and there were already buildings there on planets that he was able to find. He could shoot them there.
Filmed in space.
And I think it just speaks for itself, because like, even to give a small amount of attention to like the negative reviews I've seen, they at least say that it looks beautiful. Yeah. So I'm like, it just like kind of stands out of like, whether you love it or you hate it, this is a, high point of the movie, is that it just looks amazing.
Yeah. I echo everything everyone else has said. It was absolutely incredible. Got lost in it for sure. For sure. So we'll move away from some of the technical things and we'll just straight up favorite scenes in the movie. Let's have some fun. Ben, favorite scenes. You don't have to have just one. You could have a couple.
Because it made me chuckle, because nothing else made me laugh throughout this movie in a good way. It's when Javier Bardem as Stilgar showed up in front of Dugas.
So good.
And spat on his feet, and then his gurney wanted to touch his throat. Like, oh, settle down.
Thank you for the gift of your water.
Right.
It's crazy. Gurney was quick on the draw when did like. He was trying to fit up his suit right there before they went to look at the spice fields or whatever. I was like, what, relax. I don't think she's. That shit was crazy. Got some more favorites, Ben? Anything else?
I like the way that Leah. We talking spoilers. Leah, spoilers, the way that she died. I thought, to me, I enjoy it far more than the way she did in the book. I thought that was perfect, because there at that point she acknowledged the viewer that she was Fremen and she believed in her costumes, and she died praising Shai Halou and when she was pounding on the sand. I was like, oh, this is
that was dope. That was dope.
I got chills just watching that.
Amanda, favorite scenes?
Apart from the gum bar scene and the tent scene, I really loved when Lady Jessica and Paul were captured on the plane, and then they were tied up and all of that. So like Paul's trying to use the voice, and then like they're signing to each other and all of that, but then obviously they're released because of that. And then Rebecca Ferguson's voice, the change in her power. I think I was just sitting there like, holy shit. I was like, all right, like you can kill people. I was like, all right. Like, I think that's when it really got me. I'm like, you're that powerful. But again, like her eyes alone, she's just a straight up killer. And it was just, that scene really got to me for like Lady Jessica, especially. Yeah.
We loved it as well. Scott, man.
Leaving aside everything that's already been said, because cosine. The scene with the Baron and the Duke, when the Duke tries to kill the Baron, like I could just feel like the tension of like it. I mean, I know how it's going to play out. But still, but that's the thing. It's like I know how this ends, but I was still like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
I didn't know.
So it's just like how is this going to play out? Like how close is he going to get? Like when's the Duke finally going to be like, and do it? And so and plus just Stellan Skarsgård just being as like slimy and as
Yeah.
like he's sitting there going,
Yeah.
Bro,
Yeah.
he was chewing
killing.
for that entire
He
scene.
went in.
Yeah.
He was chewing as when he picked up dude by his hair, lifted him up. I was like, he was straight up by. I was like, yo, dude, what? Still chewing though. The Baron is still chewing right now. Yeah,
and guys, I'm sorry, I have got to bounce at this point.
Okay.
It's all good.
Appreciate you stopping by, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Dave. Good to see you again. Ben, good to see you again. Amanda, first time. This has been an absolute pleasure.
Nice. Yeah, it was so great. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Joey, Meg, Anthony, as always.
Take it easy,
You guys have
lovely.
fun, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a good night.
Okay.
All right, man.
Now we're unsupervised.
Yeah.
Dad's gone. Let's go.
So, Dave, man, favorite scenes.
Favorite? I probably have 3. So the one was the one we talked about with like the mother witch or whatever that popped up. Because like I love because I think up until she showed up, I kind of thought like Timothy's character and his family were like such royalty. Like I thought they were like top dog like of the movie. And then this woman shows up and she's like above them. Like she's got them in check, you know, and I love that. The scene with Javier Bardem where his character showed up, I thought was good because he did a good job of like he wasn't intimidated by them, and he didn't compromise himself at all to them. Like every scene in that movie Progress, like he just like they kept caving to him in a way. They were like, oh, this dude's not gonna put his sword away, like he's got a knife he's not putting away, and then like they're like, stop right there. He just kept walking and and they were like, no, let it be. Like he just kept owning them, like every part in that scene. I loved it. And then I can't remember what the third one was that I liked. I'll just stick with, if it comes back to me, I'll say it. But those two, I'll stick with those two.
Nice.
Meg, favorite scene.
Well, outside of the Gom Jabbar scene, basically anytime the B'nai Gesserit were on screen, like when they rolled up in their fucking black cloaks, I was like, woo! Oh man. They are just incredible. It's like my favorite thing about this whole like franchise is them. And I really hope that we get some like news on that in that show that's supposed to be about them, because I think that they're the most interesting part of this universe. And then the Duncan Idaho scene where he just, takes out those guys, like sacrifices himself for Paul's safety. I love, he just fucking went at it, dude. I loved it. It was like you could feel the emotion the whole time, and you're like, you knew what was gonna happen because like his shield kept going out, and I'm just like, oh fuck, here it comes, he's gonna die.
And then when you thought he was dead, and then he came back. I was like, no.
And the tent scene where he has that. Oh, it's just so good, dude. It's so like the whole movie is just, I feel like from start to finish is just like one big great scene, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, those have got to be my favorite. And like the scene with Paul and his mom when they get captured, I thought was incredible. It really showed how powerful the B'nai Gesserit are with the voice and dude. I really can't wait for part 2. So excited.
Announce that tomorrow.
Please.
Another scene that I really loved was when they're still on Caladan, and Paul and the Duke have that conversation where he's like, because like the Duke knows that his time is running out. Like throughout the story, he knows that he's not gonna last very long. So he has to let Paul know that even though like he's not like, even if he doesn't become like this like the great Duke of this house, and it's still fine because like all he ever really needed him to be was his son, and he still like thinks he's the greatest. I just thought that was so touching, and to see like the their last moments, they're like paying respect for like their elders and stuff in the graveyard. I thought it was great too.
Yeah, VFX and that scene are fire as well.
Yeah.
Just like that, just the look of that.
Yeah.
Joey, favorite scene.
I mean, I know I'm a little biased with the, him being my favorite character, but again, that fight scene with Duncan was just so insane. He was just like, killing those dudes, and just the way he didn't really say anything to Paul before he just gave him that salute and was like, it was almost just like, love you, baby brother. I got to get you out of here. That's the only thing that matters right now. I really like that. And then it's not, I don't know if it sounds like generic or whatever, but there were so many scenes when I was reading the book that I would read them and I saw how they would play out, and they played out perfectly in the movie. When Stilgar comes in and spits on the desk and everything, that went exactly. I was just
yeah, I agree. That's exactly how I imagined it.
And the tent scene, the extraction scene when they were going to go get those guys from the spice miner. Just any of those where I was just where it all came to fruition. I was just like that. I really appreciated it.
Yeah.
Also, I should have known that was coming because it's a adaptation, but and also again the infiltration scene, just that rain of fire and just that was awesome.
Yeah,
also, them dudes, there were a couple dudes up there that didn't want none of that Duncan smoke. When he came
ran away.
And he just looked at them and they were just like, go ahead, just take this, fly off. It's all good, homie.
We don't get paid that much.
It reminded me of that scene. I don't know if you've seen that movie. Remember that scene with The Town? The movie with Ben Affleck, where the nuns dressed up with the robbers. They run on the cop, and the cop is looking at him, and he just turned the other way. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. That's exactly what. For me, the Hunter Seeker scene was pretty fire. I like that one. I like how he just hid inside the hologram and shit. And you said that's longer in the book, right?
Yeah.
It is. All right. I still like the scene anyway. Also, there's this moment, this pause at the breakfast scene at the beginning of the movie when she says, do the voice, he does it, and it doesn't work. And she's like, no, do it. And there's a pause. It's shows some shit on the wall. And it shows that scene was fire. And that's something somebody might complain about. I'm like, yo, y'all could have trimmed that. Nah, that shit was perfectly linked.
Perfect.
And then he does it, and his mom partially hands him the water or whatever. That one right there stood out to me, and obviously the invasion scene was just, I don't see how it was done pretty fucking well. I'd just say that it was done well. For somebody who hadn't read the book, that just shows me if I do read the book, that
when you do read the book,
which you want.
When
when somebody says if I read the book, it's totally saying I'm not reading this fucking book. Might as well say it.
Maybe. No,
you're not helping yourself.
We'll talk later.
Yeah,
I need to read it too. I went in completely blind. I didn't read the book or seen the movie or the old movies or nothing.
Yeah. Well, I hadn't seen the 80s one in a long time, but not having read it had me, like I said, I was tense the entire time watching this movie. Because I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know that many people were going to, main characters that started off at the beginning were going to be dead before. I was like, huh? Duncan, come on, you can make it out of there.
Well, there's that little hope when he shows up and rescues them from the desert. You're like, oh yeah, he's gonna make it. He's gonna make it. He's gonna stick with them. And then it's the next scene. He just It
was actually kind of crappy. I was halfway through the book, and I went on Twitter one day, and someone said it was they made some joke. It was some picture, and it was Oscar Isaac when he dies halfway into the movie, knowing that he carried that movie on his shoulders. I was like, I was almost there. It was literally a day before I got to that part. I was like, all right, well, okay. Granted, it's been out since the 60s, so that's my fault, but whatever.
Yeah, I did get that spoiled. Oh, I told y'all. Somebody tweeted out about.
Yeah. Really?
They tweeted out about Oscar Isaac's character dying. I was like, but
worse.
Yeah, but it was still, the scene was very impactful though, the way it happened.
Yeah.
Especially with like the doctor, what's his name? Huey?
Huey.
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 It's Yui. Yeah. Dr. Yu. No, it's
Yui
Dr.
Becker.
Yue, I think.
Huey.
Yue. Yeah.
Yeah, Yue. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, you guys.
That's the thing though, like it's when we're reading the book too, it's like I have no idea how to pronounce any of these names. So it's like when so it was to the point where Scott and I found like a pronunciation video from Frank Herbert.
Oh yeah.
And but even when you're watching the movie, it's like, okay, this is how you say this is how you say that. But it's like it's cool because like in your head you have an idea of like how these people like their names are pronounced, and it's probably totally fucking wrong. So
yeah, you guys mentioned that on one of the streams, and like I went and watched it because I was like, I want to make sure I'm saying it right too.
Don't want to get on here and just
smirch Herbert.
What was the there was one the Emperor Shaddam Corino. I always call him Shaddam Corino, but I think they pronounce it differently on the movie. I think
they do too. I don't remember how they say it though.
Yeah, I don't remember how they say it.
They only say his full name, I think, like once or twice.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, speaking about the Emperor, I didn't need to see him. Like, I was okay with the fact that they didn't.
Same.
It was just like, you could just tell from like the beginning of the movie when they first started talking about him. Okay, so this dude's a big deal. That's all I need to know for you know what I'm saying. Because when the title came up, it said Dune Part 1. Like I was like, okay, so there's more. They're probably not going to get to that here. And at the end of the movie, I appreciated the fact that they didn't go too far into who the Emperor was or whatever, because they didn't really need to. So, real quick, I want to get you guys' final thoughts on Dune. Ben,
how do we wrap this up?
Yeah.
I mean, Ben, final thoughts, and also like,
oh God, leave me for fucking last, man.
In the fucking spot. Ben always goes first.
Well, let's go with Amanda. What you think?
Oh man, okay.
Final thoughts, Amanda. Like, and also first. what you would like to see in the future of this franchise.
Oh man, I loved it. I loved it so much. I can watch this like 5 million times over because it was just so good. I fell in love with it. I'm just really happy that Denis Villeneuve's getting like global recognition. Like I think a lot of people look at him as like this indie director and he's so great, but now it's like, no, like let's put respect on his name because he's actually phenomenal. So I'm just happy about that. I'm very happy about the box office and what HBO Max did for him. So I think that's like my takeaway is that even if like we love it, I just need to get the recognition globally. So, and that's what it's doing. So I'm just really happy about that. I do want Anya Taylor-Joy to be cast as Princess Rula.
I tweeted that out.
I was like, I'm like on the same wavelength there, but like everyone's been like saying it. I'm like, yes. And like Timmy's been talking about Anya. I'm like, it's done. Like it's a done deal. Let me call Denis in Montreal. Be like, like, that's what you're doing. So I hope that ends up happening. And I want to do Messiah done too. So if we're gonna go down the Dune path, let's just make sure Denis gets his full vision, and they'll be fine. And that's what I'm excited about. So.
Also, real quick before I get Dave, I get to you. When Denis came out a little while ago and was saying about like seeing this movie, 1,000% difference from seeing it on IMAX to watching it on my TV.
Yeah.
Still look great. But the difference is immeasurable. So. Yeah. If you haven't seen this thing on the big screen, man, you need to see it.
It's like a totally different experience.
It is.
It's not even like watching a movie. It's like experiencing it. It's just it's incredible.
Yeah, it is. So Dave, your final thoughts, man, and what you'd like to see going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it was like I said, it was everything I expected. Ever since when this movie first got announced and people asked, Denis what this movie was going to be like. Once he said it's Star Wars for adults, like I was sold. Like I was on board right there. I was like, that's what I want. That's what I want. I want to watch a sci-fi movie and feel like it was made for adults, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what this was. And like I'm so excited for part 2. Like I can't stop thinking about like the way this movie ended. I can't stop thinking about everything that can happen in part 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't stop thinking. Like seeing the Freeman ride that worm at the end of the movie, I was like, let's go. I was like, let's go. I was like, I'm ready. I'm ready. Like these people don't play around. I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like I said, the way like I didn't even know it was the end, like I said earlier, until she says that line. I was like, wait, that's the end. Also, another line from the trailer that you don't hear in the movie is when he says, I've seen you before.
Yeah. I mean, the trailers, it's interesting. Scott and I talked about this. The trailers, there was a lot of lines
Stuff.
in the trailers that were said in completely different scenes. But like in the trailer, it looks like it's like they shot it and then they're like, oh, we're shooting this for the trailer. So we're gonna put this in the trailer. And no, there's a lot of stuff. Like the fight like demons line was
that's the one
that's the first one I noticed.
Rebecca Ferguson, when she says it's time, is totally different. It's really cool, I think, because like you go into it, like if the trailers are your only like step into the Dune world, like before the movie, it's like then you go watch the movie and you're like, oh well, this is completely different than what I thought it was going to be.
Right. Well, you're right. Although the trailers did the movie justice. Sometimes like you get a trailer and then when you go see the movie, it's totally different. Like that's not what you sold me. But this was not the case. It's just like a couple of little lines here and there that were in the trailer that didn't show up anywhere in the movie. But that didn't change the overall story of the movie. But my final thoughts is I still a little bit butthurt about certain things that I know that were taken out from the movie, but it's because of time. And even though the pacing was perfectly executed, to the point where people that didn't read the book understood it, which is what they try to do, and that's why those stuff got left out. I would like those characters that were left out to be included in the future movie. And Fifi Howard is one, which is one of my favorite. And but overall, the movie is like flawlessly executed. There was nothing misused. There was not extra fat on this movie. There was nothing that went to waste. So I thought this was cinema. This is to me is the best movie of this year. And this movie is not included in the conversation come award season. It will be doing a disservice to cinema. And this movie is very important because we are so accustomed to watching this superhero big spectacle movies where we only get a bam bam bam, shoot them up or blown up and get a good laughs and then go home. We need to have both best of this type of movies also, where we have this kind of discussion, where we do deep dives, where we are encouraged to go and get the books and read more about this universe. These things are important, and that's why I was like, since day one, I was like, oh, I hope this movie does good, because if this disappears, then we're gonna get the same shit over and over, and because the studio, they're gonna say, no, we tried, but you guys didn't want to watch it. You know, so in that, and that's why I wanted everybody to go and watch it, because with this type of movies, they need to continue to be made, whether it's Denny or somebody else directing this type of, taking this kind of liberties with this kind of type of movies.
I agree, and I think like this movie and The Last Duel that just came out too, those are the two movies where I'm like, you guys have to go see these movies, because these are like great stories that are being told, and they're just like, they're on a different scale than the things that we've been seeing, especially like, you know, like the superhero movies. Like, they're great, they entertain us, but these are just totally like on another
different,
level.
yeah.
On
It's like a
another
breath of fresh air.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
very much.
And the
Yeah.
movie made 40 million, and people want to say, "Oh, it only made 40 million." Think about this: the majority of people that went to see this movie are in an older age bracket, you know, and that's why. And those people are a little bit more apprehensive about going to the movie theaters versus whoever went to see Venoms, which 13, 14, 15 and up.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a bigger audience there to make those $100 million type of weekend box office. So this is not by no stretch of the imagination, this was a failure when it comes to the box office, because they hit the mark precisely to those demographics that is trying to deliver this movie to.
Yeah. I wish I only had $40 million.
Exactly.
If you put it away.
Joey, with that being said, your final thoughts.
This movie was perfect. I loved it. I think I was the first one in our group to see it on that Thursday. So and I texted them and I was like, fuck. that was a lot. What I want to see from it, well, one thing I'm mad that they had to cut out. There's a scene in the book where Duncan gets drunk, or the equivalent of drunk, on, I can't remember what exactly it was, but like they missed out on the whole drunken Idaho aspect of the movie. So I wish and it probably would have added a little too much comedy or whatever to what like they were trying to avoid. But something else I would want to see is the whole talk of extended editions. For anybody who needs to hear it, I will sit in an IMAX for 5, 6, 10 hours. I don't care. I watch the extended version of this movie. So bring it. I need it.
Yeah.
Meg, your final thoughts?
Basically everything everyone else is saying. I really hope that they, like, tomorrow we get an announcement for, like, part 2, and we get an update on the spin-off show, because I think that there's so much story to be told. Like, we get like put in this like the Dune story, but there's like so much before and like after that we really need to see. The B'nai Gesserit show is like, I haven't stopped thinking about that since I saw the movie. And yeah, I need those deleted scenes like now.
Seriously.
I saw today.
He doesn't do extended versions of his movies. So
He's going to now.
Yeah, he will.
I hope so.
It's Don't make me start a hashtag. Don't make me start a hashtag.
That's all we could do last year.
The outcry, I think, for those will be a bit loud. So
I saw on Twitter today that there was a deleted scene of Jessica and Dr. Yue, which would have added exactly.
Oh yeah, but he was crying or something.
That whole conversation.
Yes, because like
that conversation.
Because it happens. It happens after the Hunter Seeker, right?
Yes.
And he's the one that sent the.
He goes investigating.
And he in the book, because what I love about the book is you get like the inner thoughts of these characters while scenes are happening, and he's like so fucking nervous when he's talking to her. He's like trying to use his nervousness to distract her from why he's nervous. And it's like, that's something I would have loved to have seen. And I feel like it would have really made that Hunter Seeker, because I love the Hunter Seeker scene, but I feel like it was missing like that part of like playing into the suspicions, because I feel like we didn't get much of that in the movie of like the backhanding suspicions within that house.
Because that's where it starts. Like, because the housekeeper says, like, there's a traitor in your midst. That was like, it was just a smash cut to I think, was it to Thufir going to?
Well, it's like the Hunter Seeker scene. He grabs it. There's a knock on the door. He grabs it. Then it goes from that to they tried to kill my son, and there's so much from that point from what we got that was missing. That I feel like that's.
And it goes also one of the things that I felt that was missing. It was no family's perfect, and that's one of the things that that would expose some of that, where Gurney Halleck doesn't trust her that much, or that Tufir Howard doesn't trust her that much. And there are odds with the Duke, because even when Tufir is questioning her loyalty, the Duke says, "You're the one who fucking picked her," you know. Like, so you know, those little things that you get from a family, whether they could be as tight as they want to be, there's still gonna be some drama behind the scenes, you know. And that's what we didn't get. We get this perfect cohesive unit that is the Duke, the House Atreides, which is not. There's some brokenness to it, and I thought that was one of the little things that I was like, oh, that could have been included for some.
Cool. So wouldn't know anything about that because I
you will when you read the book.
But it doesn't make a difference, because not probably they won't include that in moving forward.
Okay. But for me, the movie was incredible, like I've said a gazillion times. I hope they continue it. We need that announcement. Like, I need to check Twitter right now to see if they've announced it. This needs to happen.
I'm sure they will tomorrow.
It needs to happen ASAP. I don't see how you start a movie off with that title and end it with that line and it not be continued. So
has that ever happened before?
Probably. I think
I feel like I've seen that before. Part one, then I think it was I don't remember. I think I've seen that.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to research on that.
Right, let us know. Get back with us on that.
So, this has been a fire talk, man. This movie is, I mean, sure, none of us are done watching it by any
No,
stretch
I'm
of the
literally going to watch it again tonight.
By any stretch of the imagination, we're going to continue to watch this film and try to find little things that we might have missed the first few times we watched it. But this has been a fire discussion, man. I've enjoyed it. I'm sure Meg and Joey have enjoyed it as well. So
I had a terrible time, you guys. I can't do this.
Sorry.
Kidding. It was awesome. It was nice to have an educated discussion for once on this. You know.
Yeah. I'm glad I was able to lend my talents.
Dave, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter, right here. At Ohio Dave, and then if you like watching guys play games all night, live streaming, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Ohio Dave.
And you got a 24-hour stream coming up, right?
I do.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I do. I have a 24-hour stream coming up this coming Friday, and whoever donates the most to AFSP during that stream will get a 4K of Justice League. Zack Snyder's Justice League, signed by Zack Snyder, Deborah Snyder, Wesley Collar, Ray Fisher, and Ray Porter.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That line pack's about to show up.
They better.
Ben, man, where can they find you?
You switched to me too soon. I was looking for a background music. But thank you for having me. You can find me on Mr. _ Real Anarchy. We do live streams, talk nonsense with John Aaron Garza, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate having me. I had a blast with you guys.
Appreciate you coming on. And Amanda, thank you for coming.
Oh my God, this was so much fun. You guys are all amazing. I can talk about Dune all day, as I said before. This was great. Thank you again for having me. You guys can always find me over at AMX Indie Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can check out my YouTube channel, Candid Cinema, as well.
Nice.
Hey, Amanda writes some dope reviews.
Yes, she does.
By the way, she writes some good reviews.
Are the best.
She's like one of my favorite people to read reviews. Like the thing I like about her reviews is like she doesn't like always write things I necessarily agree with, but she's always like honest in her reviews. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't write a review about a Marvel or DC movie or action or comedy and compare it to something else. Like she sees it for what it is and like writes it about that.
Yes, she does.
Hell
means
yeah.
so much to me, guys. Thank you.
Drunk Dave in the 24 probably.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Hold up, Dave.
Oh God.
A shot for every donation. You taking it?
Ooh,
I'm
boy.
Hey, I mean, I gotta make it to the 24 hours.
You gotta nail this
I
shit
got.
out.
What was it the other night? You just played that Zack Snyder video for like 5 hours. You could
Oh
just,
Jesus!
you could
Yeah,
just do that.
yeah. You guys tried to kill me.
All right, you guys, viewers, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed the discussion. We'll see y'all next week. The panelists, we love you guys coming on. We appreciate it. This has been a fire time. The movie's awesome. If you haven't seen Dune yet, you watch this. You just got a lot of shit spoiled for you, but obviously you didn't give a damn because you watched it anyway. If you haven't seen it though, go see it. It's
in IMAX if you can.
Yeah,
Yes.
because that's
Oh.
the movie's absolute fire. Anyway, see you guys next week. World's Finest out.